Well, good morning, friends. Uh, it is indeed a pleasure to be able to connect with all of you this morning amidst the so-called, COVID-19 lockdown. Now, today, if you see, uh, the unlocking has started, and we are in the second phase of unlocking. Activities which were earlier suspended have started to again resume. This is evident from the traffic which you see in the roads and the general activity elsewhere. Now, I chose this topic, where am I and where I'm going to, with a little bit of thought, in the sense that more often than not, we are so busy with our lives that we lose track of where we are or what we are trying to do, where should we be going. The weeks pass off in a jiffy, the weekends, you want to rest or you want to recreate yourself, etc. But with the COVID 19 lockdown, I think most of us have been homebound and maintaining social distance, staying safe, and spending time with ourselves, our family members, and our near and dear ones. This is a unique opportunity, let me tell you, where I thought a person can find that time which was eluding him to think and to introspect and to reflect as to what he has been doing, where has he been traveling, what has he been planning, and is he somewhere near his goal or somewhere not so near in his goal. As I understand, most of my friends who are today uh, listening to me over the webinar are students who are first to third year of the graduation in the Department of Commerce in Avichi College. This is the most important and the most vital part of our lives. Now, the school, when we talk about school, school is a place where we are literally carefree and we have our uh, set milieu where the teachers more or less handhold us. There is a lot of uh, camaraderie in school. We make friends very easily. The requirements of making friends in school are also very different. We are not quite impressed with anything but as to how compatible we are intellectually, even otherwise. This life of so-called being carefree and being uh, handheld by our teachers comes to an abrupt end when we start the college life. In school, we most of us, when we choose a stream, say science or commerce, we have in our mind as to what we need to do. Am I going to be a doctor? Am I going to be an engineer? Am I looking for something else? And if I'm doing commerce, am I going to be a professional? Am I going to stick to academics? Am I going to write the civil service? So what am I going to do? Now, this is more or less there, but as we enter college, and especially after the first year, we realize that college is a very different scenario totally. It is a vast ocean where people, students from the various walks of life join in. The ecosystem is very different than it was in school. We have all the liberty. We have everything is magnified. Our friends, our classrooms, our vision, everything is magnified, which means we are facing now an open world. And this is where we need to think as to what we need to do to be focused in our lives. So let's take for an example, we have come into college and we have no definite plans in the sense what I should be doing next. I didn't choose to be a doctor because if you did doctor or medical science, you would normally be a doctor. And if you did engineering, you would be an engineer. If you did commerce, you would be a commerce graduate. Now, that is only the beginning. After commerce graduate, what would you like to further do in life? This is a very uh, tricky and a very important uh, or a very poignant point in life where we must, if given a choice, love to do something which we actually aspire to do. You shall find out, or we all know for sure, that if I am able to do something which is dear to my heart, dear to my thought process, I do it with all the involvement and all the commitment which I have. And on the contrary, if something is imposed upon me, I don't seem to do it that way. So this is the place where you need to firm up as to what I need to do. And in this context, this COVID lockdown is so important that you'll be able to assess as to whether or not we are somewhere, if not totally within the reach of our goal. Fixing a goal is very, very important. And if you don't have a goal post, just imagine a football match without a goal post. You'll be dribbling all over, running all over, and you really don't know where to end or shoot the ball. Similarly, even if you're playing cricket, there is a target in sight, there is a goal set for you. So, what you need to achieve. And that definable goal, or the goal which you can see, visualize, and feel and internalize, becomes that much more achievable if you know the goal is there. With this, I'll just have a small break in the sense I will tell you that this is what I'm going to discuss, and I will come back to more poignant questions. My structure of the talk will be very conversational. I didn't want to burden you with slides and PPTs, which you must be very uh, adept with or maybe quite bored with by now. So I thought, let me just converse and throw open a few ideas which will trigger your thinking, trigger your thought process, trigger your mind. And from the 60 minutes which we have, which we close at 12 because we started at 11, say I speak for another 15, 20 minutes. And after that, we'll keep about 30 minutes for the question and answer sessions. So the floor will be open to all the participants in case you wish to uh, ask any question which you feel need to be answered. With this, let me come to the very concept, a very subject of BCom. You see, the Bachelor of Commerce is one of the best courses which are offered by institutions today. It gives you a immense lot of exposure to business world, to accounting, to laws, to all kinds of multidisciplinary subject, and prepares you uh, to be a semi-professional as soon as you finish a degree. It prepares you and gives you a launch pad to go into various professional courses of ACCA, CA. You have n number of courses which you can do. And this entire scene starts off in your first year. So my expectation from all students that is you find a lot of substance in this subject because it's got a focus as to where you are heading for. In the very first year, you get into the lot of, conceptually, you are getting to the LinkedIns and you are professionally trying to adapt yourself to various things. This is the time when we are also looking at building a strong extracurricular uh, activity for ourselves, a strong second line of uh, educational line which I open up to myself. Because ultimately, what happens is when we are going into the world and we are going amidst the employment market or the entrepreneurial market, what say you? We are there competing to be one amongst others or one above the others. And that simple thing is, I mean, this crucial thing we must not lose sight of is it is this time that we need to know that what we have equipped ourselves with in our college, in our school, comes to our help. Uh, that apart, most importantly, what we need to today look at is a lot of changes which have been we are seeing post COVID. You must reflect on life and see as to what COVID and the pandemic has brought us to. The entire world is grappling with it. The entire 7 billion people in the world, of which we are 1.3 billion, are affected by it. So it's not only us, it is the entire world which is affected. And what happens is when you reflect, you realize that our lives we have been spending, our lives are very precious and it takes not too much of time and money to manage our lives simply. However, we spend a lot of money and a lot of time on what we call our lifestyles. So the importance of life is very, very crucial. And I think a very uh, big find of the lockdown when we sit and think as to the importance of life. The very fact, if you're safe today, you can do many things tomorrow. The next thing which we come to is how do things happen after this? So everybody is looking at COVID. We are reading all kinds of news which we are exposed to. There is a tsunami of news, not so good, every day on all kinds of media, whether it is print, whether it's visual, that the whole world is crumbling, the systems have crumbled, so much infected, so much dead, so much recovered, etc. My simple point take would be you don't skip the news totally, but sieve the news, sieve the chaff from the grain, and actually know as to what you should be looking at. Because looking at news as they are presented, you should not be misled because the news which are put in the visual media is mostly for TRPs and they keep drumming the same thing over and over again. This brings me to a very important point, and that is with regard to where we are. Look at our country and the strength we have. Look at the demography. Look at the social demography we have. We are 64% or so in the age group, which is called youth, while most of the countries, say China or Japan, are reeling with people with older ages. So we have a distinct advantage of age with us. Age is youth, youth is creativity, uh, energy, and will to do, and the capability to do, and the capacity to do. So, what we need to do is we must hone our youth or ourselves into something which we can do and deliver. This is what I have been sort of observing. And if you see the educational pattern or you see the job opportunities in the country, if you see the entire awareness in the country, the West and the southern states have taken advantage as far as some studies say about 67% of the entire youth which is aware and which is taking advantage is now on the west and south of India. Take for example Kerala, Maharashtra, Tamil Nadu, Gujarat. And then we are very privileged in the sense that we are a young lot, we are an energetic lot, we are a good lot. So we must preserve our youth. And how do we preserve our youth? We must be disciplined, we must be self-disciplined, we must have our daily routines chalked out, we must give adequate importance to our health, to our mental health, to our emotional health, to our habits, and to our basic setup. Number two, just being locked out does not mean anything. I have the entire world open to me through what we are interacting with e-learning. There are a lot of uh, sites which offer free learning. There are a lot of courses which are on the offer, which you must really look into and choose depending on the cost and other factors, because a degree or two which you do is going to be of real help when you are going out in the market for jobs, or you're trying to look into doing something yourself. The values which we need to inculcate today is, first, remove the trust deficit which we have. We must trust others, and to trust others, you must be trustworthy yourself. Your word must count, your commitment given must count. If you say, I'm going to do this, you must do it. And if you have to reach somewhere at 7, let it be 7 a.m. It should not be uh, something which can be pushed over, passed over, or something to be taken very casually, because it speaks of a character. Second is, do be kind to others. Don't be aggressive. Don't be abusive, and vent your frustration if you have any on others. And similarly, be kind to yourself. If you're kind to yourself, you'll be kind to others. Many a times I see, if something doesn't happen, a person starts castigating himself, saying, oh, I'm such a fool, oh, I should have done this. It's not required. A little bit of introspection, a pat on your back, and then you're back there. Third, whatever we do, we must think and put our best foot forward. I should not recklessly or mindlessly just start doing something, and because that is going to be counterproductive. Fourth, in case you go somewhere, let's say for a job interview, and that gentleman says, or any other interview, and he says, well, I don't think so, we have a place for you. Don't take it personally. Even when we are traveling sometimes, or in the shop, when we are interacting with people, some people may be on the short end of the fuse, giving some very abrasive answers. You need not get very worked up about it, because each one is a product, or he's giving vent to his emotional output. Fourth, we must all learn to be patient and listen. You take a simple thing about the social distancing of maintaining 6 feet. It requires a lot of discipline, because earlier we would jostle, push, and try to be in the front of the line as a headway, making a headway over others. This is absolutely unwarranted. So now, because of the pandemic, something which should have come naturally to us has come by way of social distancing. We must internalize this. It is very, very important that we do this. And our second thing is, why should any government or anyone must tell us that we must maintain social distancing, or we must put a mask? If you see, I was reading a small news item and a small article, and not surprisingly, it came from Japan, where the people have decided, the society has decided that, look, we are going to do all that is required to be done to ensure that my mate is safe, that my friend is safe, my fellow being is safe. And by ensuring his safety, I'm ensuring my own. So what have they decided? they will all wear face masks. Actually, that is a given thing in Japan. Many Japanese culture also did promote people wearing face masks. Then what did they do? They always maintain proper discipline, give respect others' privacy, maintain that norm of maintaining the safe distance, not spitting or not creating nuisance in public place. Fourth, next, when they go to a restaurant, what they do is they have decided they will promote social distancing and observe it by a way of arranging the seating in such a manner that you're not facing one another. If you face one another, it is likely that my speech or my cough or my sputum or whatever may be able to infect you, or the chances of infections are there. So they've decided that in the restaurant, they will be placing chairs side by side and they'll sit side by side. One more thing, while they are waiting for the food, or when they are waiting for the food, they will not converse at all, and they will only concentrate on the music which is playing in the restaurant. And when the food comes, to eat that food quietly and then move out. Now look at this brilliant thing. If we can do something like this and train our minds to respect our privacy, respect the other's privacy, I do not think we need a fiat or a government diktat or a health advisory to tell us, please do this, failing which, you're going to impair the lives of others. Among the attitudinal things which I was discussing, most powerful is the art of listening. More often than not, you go to someone or somebody asks you something or somebody has come to you for something with say they have some query or something to be addressed. We hardly give them a scope or chance. We start rattling off, or the gentleman rattles off. How do you feel when you've gone with a problem to someone and that gentleman keeps talking without listening to you at all? You feel very let down. So we must learn to listen, and it's no secret that silence is very, very powerful. Now look at our economic scenario. We every day get to read that the growth rates are falling and the rating agencies are downsliding our rating. Let me tell you, this is all will come and go. We've had world wars. We've had n number of such crises where these things happen. Yes, ratings have importance, growth rate have importance, but not in a situation like this. In a situation like this, our lives are more important. And once we are safe, once we are healthy, we can take care of the rest. How? If you as a commerce student, you would know that the entire economy is based on demand and consumption. In other words, the demand, and if there's a consumption, there'll be demand, and with more things you consume, the demand grows. So there's a demand-supply relationship which drives the economy. Look at our population. We have 1.3 billion at home, and I told you 7 billion abroad, in the entire world. So all kinds of things, all kinds of resources are there, and all kinds of, you take a simple thing, food. If we take today food, there we have graduated from coarse foods, from the agrarian type where we ate simple meals, to now food which are, being sold as or being marketed and had as balanced food. Food is a very big reflection of our economic growth and economic status. The more you graduate into higher economic echelons, you start doing well, your food refinement also happens. Now, food, I was talking about demand and supply. So the demand for food grows, and the supply also has to grow. So the supply chain has to be strong. And because of the interrelation between demand and supply and the amount of people we have, the number of people who require food, require basic things, require things of general utility, we are not going to have an economic lockdown, which is endless. Very importantly, what we need to do? We need to offer a service which is of useful, which is imperative, and which is of value to someone else. Similarly, if we observe, we'll see that, well, the demand is there, well, the supply is there. What actually has differed is only the mechanism of delivery. Earlier, we used to cook food here. Now you order a Swiggy or you order the Zomato. So the delivery mechanism in n number of things, including I'm addressing you, this delivery mechanism has changed. So we are adapting very fast to what the society or what the times are telling us. I'm now coming to my little presentation, which I'm going to conclude. As I said, I'm going to leave some fair amount of time. I think it's 34 minutes. I'll take another 5-6 minutes to say how we need to plan our professional life and our own lives. First is when we start restarting, you take somebody who's got a sportsman who's laid off all these days, and suddenly he starts training. He sees the whole big mountain to be conquered. So that is not very, let that not dishearten us, because we need to set small goals and small landmarks which you need to achieve. And they add up to taking us to the crescent on top. So we need to identify what are the doables, and the doables, I told you, is we need to plan better in our time management. We need to plan better to improve the quality of our lives. We need plan to equip ourselves by putting us in the right slot of doing some degrees and some educational courses, putting us in LinkedIn, being in touch with our friends, professional groups, teachers, friends, society, family, so that we are all linked in, and look possibly for internships. I'm not saying that jobs are very easy to come by, but internships, it will give you an exposure to the type of job you're looking for. Many a times, our goal or our aim or ambition keeps changing, because every time we do something, we feel that this is not what I was looking for. So do internships. They may be first step to your job. Be exposed to certain kind of things so that you can choose between many things you do. I have my own, today, conceptually, we are looking at an economy which will be so typical to India because of the demand, because of the type of population we have. And I'm sure you know this 100-mile connection. There's a concept where every person who needs social security of food, clothing, etc., is the first. It's not only he desires, but it's as good as a fundamental right that we need to have. We need the right to education, right to work, right to live. And the ecosystem which finally has to come is in 100-mile. Why I said about 100-mile connection is within that 100 miles, you should have a banking, you should have all the facilities, and where production takes place, and a lot of people, where we have our demands and we have our supply chains taking over, and where we find solutions to our small needs. This, if we start developing our villages, our rural economies, and strengthen them, then the cross migrations also, which happened earlier, will have a different look. With this, I wanted to just add that I'm not only professing or just theorizing everything which I say. I can take a leaf out of my own personal life. And what I did is, when I was in school, I thought I should be in the army and I should be doing the National Defense Academy. Soon I realized that, well, and I joined the NCC. I was a petty corps officer. And after that, I realized that, well, army thing doesn't suit me. So I thought I should be a civil servant like my father was. and then I joined the college in Delhi. In college, I thought, why not? I should look for some, being a scribe, the journalist. So I joined two papers that time, Youth Times and Junior Statesman. I did some writing work when I was in college and realized that, well, this is not exactly what I was looking for. I went into acting and I did some small roles in plays and in movie. There's a magnum opus, you see Gandhi, that picture. I was a extra there, and I had a lot of exposure to some plays. Then I realized this life is again what I'm not looking for. I'm looking for something more. So in my graduation itself, I got internship with Lintas, one of the home placement for products. Those days, 1977, the Coke was gone out, new drinks were being posted. And so I started home placement and realized that, well, this could be another one. Again, after some time, I thought I should go into more refined way. After my graduation, I joined the post-graduation to keep my academics open. I enrolled myself in law after my MA and then started taking my competitive exams. I got into the bank and I got into the civil service. And I also had the law degree to myself. So I had the second and third plan A, plan B, plan C, all ready with me. Because when we are going even in life, as in war or in sports, we can't just proceed unilinear way. Because unilinear way have, well, if you succeed, nothing like it. But you should always have a plan B, plan C to fall back on. With these words, I'm going to conclude my address to my young friends. I would request and I would urge that you feel free to address any and every kind of question which comes to you for a free reeling question answer session. Thank you very much.
First question raised by our student, that is regarding the setting of goals. So how to set goals if I have not yet done yet? This is the first question, sir. It's from first year BCom CS students, sir.
Yes. Shall I answer?
Yes, sir. Sure, sir.
It is very, very, very pertinent and a very good, I think, question which has been asked. What do I say, especially from the first year? Now, in the first year, typically there are no fears of job opportunity should be there at this stage. So focus on the course, develop a secondary skill. This is very, very crucial. You must develop a secondary skill besides your coursework in college. And you are under no pressure. You can find yourself equipped to pursue what I just suggested. Pursue a hobby, pursue a sport, and develop a skill for better resume compared to others when you start getting into the grind of things. You'll see that by the time you finish your 2 years more, all these things would have been achieved and your CV looks very good. And like the principal, Major Babu said, you are very lucky that in the very first year you get your internship. With this secondary skill, with your equipping yourself more, you'll be a step or two ahead of others. Then always try to also look into the fact whether am I the chartered accountant or a cost accountant or company secretary in the making? Am I a civil servant or whatever am I in the making? Put yourself in the join the LinkedIn and start adding connections to your choice. Now, setting goal for that, I told you, look at me, I went from 4 to 5 different professions trying to feel what is good for me or what I would like to go. So I had the liberty of course, economic independence. I didn't have to get into a job and look after and support my family. My father and parents were in fact supporting me for a very long time. So I could choose, I had the liberty to choose. So when you set a goal, you must take this entire ecosystem into consideration as to whether Do I have the liberty to choose? And if I have to choose, what should I choose? Goal setting then becomes important, because once you choose to become something and it comes from within, then the passion and the drive which you have takes you there. Thank you. I think if you need more clarification, you can ask.
Thank you, sir. And next question, sir. Sir, can you share your challenges which you have faced in your journey?
Challenges are many. First challenge is the the examinations which we have to appear and do well. So it's very interesting. If you take school, if you take college, every exam is a challenge, every interview is a challenge. But if you are involved in it passionately, then it becomes delightful challenge. You love those challenges. There's a friend of mine. He loves conquering peaks and mountains. For him, for me, it's a challenge. For him, it's an exciting challenge. He looks forward to conquering the next peak. Similarly, for me, challenge was first to be among the select few who were better or were better equipped. For that, I needed to uh, focus more on the kind of uh, studies I need to do, the kind of skills I need to develop. And, for everything, you require a different skill set. Once I put my focus on the first, I made small goals. I made myself first. I worked for the private company. I made a small goal. I did. That was a internship job. Then I put another small goal. I put myself to a bank job. I appeared for the probationary officer job. I got it. Then I put another goal, civil service. Then I said, what do I need? What are the arms and ammunition I need to have with me to conquer this? I assimilated them, connected with similar people who did this, and then I started uh, achieving one by one and reached there. So challenges will be there, and without challenge, there is no life. And I fail to believe that there are people who feel that there are no challenges. It will be so unexciting then.
Uh, Thank you, sir. Next question, sir. What are the prospects available for BCom graduate in income tax department, sir?
In income tax department, just a minute. Well, we have our secretarial, we have, see, the income tax department is a, is a, is a uh, department which administers direct taxes, and it comes under the central government. So on the apex, on the top, it is head by a board, Central Board of Direct Taxes, where you have a chairman. He's from the Indian Revenue Service. Before that, after that, and then we come down. Then we have ministerial staff, we have multitasking staff. So for every educational level, there is a job opening, which comes through the SLC. You write the departmental exam, where you have the central employment schemes are there. Then state selection boards are there. You write those exams and you qualify and come into the cadre. So you become a multitasking, we call them TS, multitasking staff, where they do, uh, there's a flexibility of the type of job you do. It can be on the computer, software. Earlier we used to call them tax assistants, senior tax assistants. So now with the evolving world, the jobs are getting more fluid and better. And we have enough scope if you join young enough that on promotion you can keep qualifying exams and rise to be an officer within the next 10 years. But the advantage is once you make a beginning and once you get in, first of all, you're secure. You get a huge exposure to a lot of qualified people, lot of who come to the income tax department for work, qualified people who are your colleagues, and then everybody is aspirational, everybody is aspiring. So you learn from them and then you pick up. So income tax department, if you wish to join, you please write these exams because this is the only method. Another, a very small percentage is of course taken as a sports quota, where you have outstanding achievements in the national level or the state level. Then you compete for the job and then you're taken as a state level. You're taken as on employment on the basis of your sports achievement. I think I've answered this, if it's okay.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. And one more question, sir. What I should do to become an income tax commissioner?
You need to write the civil service exam, the Indian civil service, which we have. The civil services exam is held annually, once in a year. Now we have just had the results, and the interview was over. Two of the candidates, it appears, could not go for the interview because of the uh, COVID. So they have got a slot in July. So the phases are that first, about, I'll give you a very rough estimate. Say 10 lakh people appear, there'll be about 1,000 final jobs there. And out of 1,000, they are broken up into so many services, about 10 to 15 services. So the civil service exam is the gateway to where you can become and get into the income tax service. And to appear the civil service exam, the first stage is the preliminary exam, where you write a prelims paper, which is objective types, where you have myriad of entire school, your geography, history, social studies, to a specialized paper you write, quantitative aptitude. It's like most of the most of the competitive exams are like that. So you write a preliminary. If you pass the preliminary, so say about 10,000 appears, or 10,000 out of 10 lakhs, 10,000 pass the preliminary, and 5,000 pass. Then you write the written main exam, another half, and then from main you write the interview. So third step is the interview. So please prepare for the civil service exam. There are enough coaching centers here, and which are doing human service. And even otherwise, if I am of any help, I'll be so happy to guide and help. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. The next question is regarding the UPSC preparation, sir. How many hours should I prepare for UPSC, and how should I be productive?
See, the best preparation for UPSC, or the preparation for UPSC, starts in school. How diligently we read our subjects, because the questions are from social studies, history, economics, geography, maths, literature, Indian culture, every kind. So all this we have done in school, NCERT books, which we do till class 12. Second, college, commerce. Suppose I take a main course as commerce. My, my knowledge is tested on my primary subject and then secondary subject. So I must be very, very attentive in class, and I must, wherever I don't follow or where I need to get some clarifications, I should not hesitate in asking my teachers. So your studies form the course. Please download the, what do you call, the course content, depending on the subjects which you would like to take. And then the books and all are prescribed. Then you plan to study. There is no second way, there is no escape route from planning. That's why I said you have to set the goal is civil service final exam. Small goals are, I'll finish social studies, I'll finish my commerce, I'll finish my this, I'll finish my this paper, that paper. That way you have to proceed. So you have to plan and go. What was your question? Can you please repeat once more?
Yes, sir. So the previous question, sir.
Yeah, no, this one I was answering.
Sir, for UPSC preparation and how I should be productive. How many hours I have
Yeah,
to
how many
prepare
hours?
for UPSC?
Yes. How many hours and productivity? Yeah, I got it. So,
Yes,
thank
sir.
you. These hours, I somehow never believed in hours of study. See, if you're sitting in front of a book and your mind is wandering elsewhere, then sitting 3 hours makes no difference. But you must have to systematically carve out time after college, where you have to start reading for civil services, totally dedicated. We were all putting in about 4 5 hours after regular studies, which means 8 10 hours. The work hours which we have, if you join a job, you'll be working 8 to 10 hours. So if you concentrate that way, you I think you'll be doing well. Plus you read your newspapers, your magazines. It's a you need to assimilate lot of things which are happening in the world, because we have lot of gen studies papers and all, where which is not confined to a particular subject. It is a combination of all subjects. So hours are important, but number of hours are not very important. the intensity of hours are very important.
Thank you, sir. And the next question, during this COVID situation, how we have to equip ourselves to find a place in the job market since the job cuts are there. So
Yes,
how to,
that I was addressing. So I said in the first year, Major Babu was telling us that you are put into internship. Internship is a first exposure to a job, and it will be a stepping stone to a job or no job, because you know exactly whether you like it or not, and how well you're doing, or what you're lacking, or where you are. Intern, you are an intern. So, and a lot of things you learn, a lot of mistakes you do are also amenable. Second one, in the second year, you start actually literally preparing for the job market. You start doing online internships, online certification courses that are, with a fee or less expensive. This will give you a head start over the others. And in the second year, if you do this with your internship in the first year, you will be a full bloom student by the time you are getting ready. Along with this, make a list of companies you would like to apply after graduating and apply for internship. As some companies have opportunities in the for final year students only. Okay, so you can do an internship in your online and then a job later on. Try to always do a professional course or a semi-professional course, which will again add to your resume. Uh, this resume which you make must be, share it with your professor and teacher. They will be able to guide you and tell you. Also, get involved in some amount of social charitable activities, social activities other than studies, because when you go for admission to bigger schools, they also look at this score. In the final year, there's an important year with COVID making innumerable people jobless. That's what I think is worrying you. You don't have to worry. You also, giving the first two steps to equip yourself with several other qualifications, secondary line of defense, plan A, plan B. They will be a big help. Make sure your resume is up to date. Get it checked from the professionals of in the industry or family, or anyone you think may know. Well, majority of the companies at the present are slightly slack, but I told you the demand-supply relationship, or the consumer or the supply demand, yeah, how the economics is driven. It's a question of only time when everything is going to open up. Yes, the emphasis or the core sectors will be different. There will be shift in core sectors, but it will happen. I'll give you a small example. Did you hear masks 3 months back or 6 months back? No, we didn't have any masks. Now, flick of your finger, now lakhs of masks are being prepared and supplied to all of us. So the priorities will dictate, the demand will always be there. So don't get disheartened. Equip yourself. Keep your gunpowder dry so that when it comes to the call, your gun fires. Thank you.
so next question, do commerce students have any internship program in IT department, sir?
IT department, till I was working, and as far as I know, does not offer any internship program. I only saw one intern of officer's daughter. She was a lawyer, and she got an intern in the international tax side. I uh, I don't think so. I think internship is only for. I think none of the government services offer internship. If I'm not too sure on this, but IT department does not offer any internship.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for answering all the questions of our students. I now welcome Selvi Madam to propose vote of thanks.
May I before that just add one line?
Yeah,
Yes,
please,
sir,
please
sure,
go
sir.
ahead, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
I'm immensely grateful to the management and yeah, the principal and all Professor Selvi and everyone, each one of member from the Avichi College, for having offered me this opportunity to share this forenoon of today with such young minds. I'm very, very grateful and thankful, and look forward to being of more uh, useful, or being in touch with all of the academics and academia of Avichi College. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much for wishing our students for their better future, sir. I think though you are a person of a civil servant, but still you are not left the army style of approach about. You said you are equipped with all your arms and ammunition, gunpowder, it all that related to your defense, what's called the terminology, and your strategy of your demand and supply. Yes, that is the force that drive the entire economy. And this time of COVID may be a temporary phenomenon. That's all. Bright future is all ahead. I think you are given a very, very optimistic scenario to our students, so that they'll all have more confidence in them about. And again, thank you so much that you offered to just help our students who are willing to just pursue in civil service. Someone like watching.
Sir, one more. It will be a real privilege and pleasure.
Yeah, sir, I would like to add one more point. In our college, we do have what is known as the mentorship. Yes. There are a couple of more than 20 of the eminent persons who passed out from our Avichi school. There are the alumnus of alumni that Avichi, but other our known friends of our secretary sir, they're all around the world about. Already they are in our list of mentorship. They are mentoring more than 30 to 40 students of our college right now. Many of our students are fortunate to get the help and guidance from those eminent personalities. Sure. So we wish to add you in the list of our college mentorship to guide our students in the way, either in higher studies.
Oh, I'm quite honored. I'm quite honored and happy. Yes.
Yeah, thank you, sir. This is what we expect, and help our youngsters to just come up with their life, to shine in their life, to become a good citizen of the country, sir.
It'll be a great service. I mean, it's a great opportunity for me to be there.